Hello and welcome to third lecture in the 15th chapter of our comprehensive course on AI, ML and DS. Now here we want to talk about this part C of the lecture, part C of the chapter, themes and style customization in the SEABORN. SEABORN provides extensive support for making visually appealing plots. First of all, its greatness is that even if you don't use any theme and style customization, by default also it will choose most of the things and colors and the theme and background and everything such that you can use directly the plots which are created for professional purpose. But suppose there is a fellow who is highly tricky and who wants to control each and every aspect of the plot, then he can use this theme and style customization feature of the SEABORN. And another great thing about SEABORN is that even theme and style customization syntax is also very simple and very consistent in its naming convention. So you don't have to remember a lot of complicated and esoteric code and various options. It's not required. Okay, so let us try first theme customization. What is the need first in theme customization? So there are built-in themes which can apply to all plots for consistency and aesthetic improvements. Now it is important because suppose you have started your work you have joined a new job, but before you also it is possible that this exploratory data analysis and visualization was already handled by some another person, right? Now if that person was using a dark theme for each and every plot, and you don't know how to enable the dark theme while using this SNS library, then what you will have to do, that means one thing, your knowledge is very limited. You can only plot all plots with white theme. And second is that you will have to convert all plots of your predecessor by that means replot all of them with light theme, and then you have to continue. So it is unnecessary duplication of efforts. But if you want to maintain the consistency in the work, whatever he was doing, okay, he was using dark theme, fine, I will also plot with dark theme. And also there are certain cases where if the presentation slide has light colors, that is the slide background, then a dark graph may have more appeal than a light graph like that. Then there are also separate style parameters. This is the overall theme of the entire plot will change. These are individual style parameters. So how I want to change color, how I want to change the grid lines, how I want to change the color palettes. Okay, and there are context setting. Now this is a really interesting feature of SEABORN, that it allows to plot the elements which are suitable for different context. Context means suppose I want to plot for a poster to be pasted in my organization or maybe for advertising purpose. At that time a different type of plot is required. But if I want to put it for a talk, now talk means a presentation. Now the problem with presentation is that always the real estate of the slide space is very precious. So we want to include some description, at the same time we want to include the plot. So we would like to make the plot smaller in size, just enough so that it is clearly visible. But sometimes what happens because of that is the font, say x-axis markers and y-axis markers, they will also become so small that they are not clearly readable by audience. So this talk is like that kind of context where you are telling the SEABORN that I want to create a plot for presentation. So it will not increase the size of the plot, but it will increase only the size of the font on x and y axis automatically. Again, with Matplotlib that is possible, but you have to explicitly specify that x axis font should be this much and y axis font should be this much and all that. Papers. Now that is also an interesting option, that where you want to use, on which kind of paper you want to use your plot, and we will see these options, we'll explore them, so you will get an idea about what is this. Okay, but first let us create our usual data frame. So that is our standard data frame, categories and the values. Throughout the chapter I have decided to keep the same data frame so that you can understand the differences, or you can slowly build up on your SEABORN knowledge with various options. So we plotted distribution plot using sns.dis plot for this data frame. Then we plotted box plot using sns.box plot, and we plotted scatter plot, line plot using sns.line plot. Okay, now here we are trying to plot again, suppose that distribution plot. So again it is sns.dis plot, and which variables distribution, that I want to show these variables distribution, and color is purple, that is also same as earlier used, and kt is equal to true. So I want this smooth curve showing the kernel density and data distribution. Fine, but I am using, before my plotting commands are used, you have to set your style and context before that. Okay, so I am setting sns.set style white grid. So this grid is at present white. Okay, and I am setting the context talk. So that means the font on my x and y axis, they will become very large so that I can paste my diagram on in a PowerPoint slide and then I can reduce the size of the image, but still the font will be very legible. So let us take that example. So you can see this, that here this thing is there, and these fonts are very large. Okay, so these fonts are very large. Now compared to what, here you can see the range. When the fonts are very large, 20 and 60, that is the range, and here 0 and 20, that is the range. Compared to earlier, when you did not set any context, like context is equal to the talk, that is for presentation, then what plot you obtained was, I want to talk about the distribution plot. Yeah, this was that. Okay, so you can see that there again 20 to 60 and 0 to 20. So here there is not much of a difference. Here also the font are already larger. Okay, but in suppose think about that there are maybe here there are only 3 categories, A, B, and C. Think about the situation where there are so many categories and you want to plot the count plot, and then what will you do? Say at that time, this your plot may become so clumsy that when you or here the range is very large, say 20, instead of age is there or some other variable is there, but here instead of that it is suppose 20 to 20,000. So obviously on x-axis the range is large, here also it is 0 to 10,000. So obviously the font will be very small. So at that time it will be difficult to display that on a PPT slide. So you can use this context is equal to talk. Okay, and then one more thing is this white grid. So set style is equal to white grid. So I am seeing everything on a white grid. Now, if you want to know what options are available, then you don't need to remember them. I have already shown you the trick, that sns.set_style and question mark, control enter, and I will immediately see here in the parameters that style can be dark grid, white grid, and all this. So I'm just copying this from the documentation, and here I will try each and every style from this. Okay, so white grid I have tried. Now I am trying this dark grid. With dark grid, purple color usually will not go well, but let us at present keep it as it is. So dark grid, it is not very dark also. That is one good thing about it. Okay, then just a dark. So if I keep just a dark, then this kind grid is not there. Okay, fine. Then just white, that will also be same. And next is ticks. So then ticks. There is no such option. No, unexpected indent. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. So ticks are, this kind of graph is obtained. Okay, there is this on axis, this kind of ticks are seen, which will not be seen otherwise. Okay, so I again put originally it was white grid, and then you see this horizontal lines on x and y axis, and these vertical lines also, they will not appear. Okay, so white grid, and this, now those lines have disappeared. So if for more clarity you want to include those ticks, then that is also one option, correct? And you can use multiple styles one by one in that manner. So you can use dark grid, and in next line you can use the ticks also, or you can provide a dictionary with multiple options, maybe dark grid and comma ticks. So that is also possible. Okay, so that is about set style. Now ideally I should not be required to explain this kind of things in now we are in 15th chapter. So it is expected from the learner that he knows this trick now. So as soon as he sees something interesting that set context talk, then he will explore other options. But anyway, so here let us explore other options. What are other options? A dictionary or one of these things. Okay, so a dictionary or one of them means you can also set multiple context or single context. And what are that context? Here I am pasting that. Then I can use paper. So instead of talk, I am using paper, and control enter. Now this time you can see that those fonts have become very small, but the advantage is that entire data set is included, all the range is included, and therefore the data distribution is perhaps the most clearly displayed, because entire range of my data frame 20 to 70 year is covered. Okay, if I again put that context is equal to talk, then now you can see that change in the font size in visible manner. Okay, so now this is the change in the font size suitable for pasting the image on a PowerPoint presentation. Then context is equal to notebook. Okay, and you put that, so hardly any difference between paper and notebook in our case. Fine. Then context is equal to poster. Again, in this case I don't think there will be a very big difference, but yeah, at least it is this header title, and the y-axis label, x-axis label, then the axis this scale, they are very dark, very big. Even the curve is also very dark compared to what earlier was, and title is also very dark, and it is also a nice option. Okay, so you can try various options, and documentation is always handy with any good quality IDE, may it be Jupyter or may it be Python or may it be VS Code. So you don't need to rush to AI code assistance for every small thing. That is what I am emphasizing. You should learn the old ways of doing things also. Okay. Now this much was the there. I am keeping this, but I am removing the output of it. So context and same. Where is that style? I think I have already removed it. Okay. So fine. Let me remove these also. But this is what is the situation. So introduction to SEABORN library, and you can see that even in introduction, one starts liking this library SEABORN compared to Matplotlib. Matplotlib is very powerful, no doubt, but a lot of coding is required. Here, it makes the code succinct, the naming convention is consistent, and at the same time, it does not break your old code, so everything is compatible with pandas. Now here you will do these exercise questions, and again you will I have given one data frame, and you will every learner will create the same data frame only, so that there is no mismatch in the answer. So this will be the data frame, and you will discuss part A, part B, and part C one by one. We will get the solution, but after some time, so one has to try himself. Okay. Thank you, and we will see each other in next 16th chapter. 16th or which? Yeah, advanced SEABORN. So it is 16th chapter, correct. So bye till then, and take care.